Hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Warships Blitz with Terry. Today we are looking at a ship that I was really excited to get, because the Japanese gunboat destroyer line with tier 6 and tier 7 has been a bit meh, and the main reason for that is that the tier 6 and 7 ships weren't gunboats. They were just destroyers, normal torpedo boat destroyers. This, on the other hand, is the Akizuki, the tier 8 gunboat destroyer, and that thing is fun. Now, the Akizuki class of destroyers was initially invented to be carrier escorts and AA defense ships. The original 127mm guns that the Japanese were having were sort of meant to be dual purpose, but it never really worked. This thing, on the other hand, gets real proper dual purpose guns and gets a lot of them. Now, when they were designing the ship initially, the idea was to not even give her torpedoes, but just have it a pure escort gunboat. Although the Navy eventually intervened and said, could we please get torpedoes on these? So they relented and stuck a torpedo launcher on it as well, plus a bunch of depth charges, plus all kinds of useful things. And these guns on these ships were very good. They worked really well. And a lot of them were built, and some of them survived the war and actually served in foreign navies after that. The Akizuki herself was part of the Northern Force during the last big battle in the Philippines, when the Japanese were trying to repel the American invasion. And she was part of the decoy force that was supposed to pull Halsey's carriers out of position, which eventually worked, even though Kurita's center force didn't make it through and run into escort carriers that managed to actually defend themselves with the sacrifice of some of their destroyers. But yeah, she was up in the north and was actually sunk by during the initial carrier strikes from Halsey's fleet carriers onto the decoys. And that's how it ended for her. But in game, so what we have here, we have a very nice little destroyer. And as you can see, we've got 4 turrets of twin guns. We have, we'll have a look. We have an okay maneuverability. She's not super quick with 35 knots, but she's also not super slow. She's not the sturdiest destroyer out there, and it's relatively large. It's a relatively large ship, but it's all about the guns. Now, these are 100mm guns, so effectively the stuff that you get on auto secondaries on battleships. But she's got 4 twin turrets for a total of 8, with a 3-second base reload, a range of almost 9 kilometers, and a 3.5% fire chance. You can see where this is going, can't you? She also gets, as I mentioned, a single centerline mounted torpedo launcher, which is a quad launcher of the just generally very good long lance Japanese torpedoes. 75-second reload is on the long side, but she does get a torpedo reload booster, which instantly reloads her torpedoes. So effectively, twice in the battle, she can fire a spread of 8 torpedoes. They've got a 9-kilometer range. They're reasonably quick. They have a great chance of flooding, which is very much fun when you're dealing with people who damage single fires. She doesn't get a defensive AA skill, but the AA on the ship is actually pretty respectable, with 170 on the large caliber AA, and that's these dual purpose 100mm guns. The concealment is not great with 6.9 kilometers. She gets easily outspotted by most things. Ship skill wise, she gets an engine boost. She gets 2 smokes, and she gets the torpedo reload. How have I set this ship up? As a pure gunboat, I have put the main battery mod 1 in for better turret traverse. I've got the propulsion mod for acceleration, and the steering gear mod for better steering. It's arguable that you could use concealment mod for better concealment and not being outspotted. And that would be a valid choice. Personally, I am holding the trigger down pretty much the whole battle. So this gives you a bit of an advantage in the initial at the start of the game, such that you're not easily outspotted by enemy destroyers. So if you want to be a bit sneakier, this is definitely a very valid choice. Personally, I kind of prefer to play her this way, and just deal with the fact that I'm being outspotted. The elite bonus, you can get better torpedo, which is not a bad choice, right? Especially the chance of flooding increase is a good one. Or you can get speed and acceleration, and that's where I'm at, because for me this is all about zipping around and just holding the trigger down and getting the Dakar going. So I did go with the advanced engine here. All in all, this gets us to these metrics that we have here. So I did get the turn time under 4 seconds. The time to full speed is pretty respectable now with about 8 seconds. And yeah, the guns have an 18 degrees per second turret traverse and 3-second base reload. Commander skills, you do want obviously underwater protection expert. Yeah, you do want the torpedo alert. I'm actually not sure if the higher tier ships are actually getting. If I look at the, so bear with me. Where's the darn tech tree gone? Isn't that how it works? Oh no, this is just a filter. Sorry, I lost. There it was. Yes, I'm still not 100% used to it. Yeah, no, Harugumo still doesn't get anything else. So you don't need any ship skills in that regard. It would have been nice to have a defensive AA on these things actually, but that would almost make them too powerful. Victorious charge. I do have Daredevil in here. Very, very obviously exploit weakness to just give you a little bit more damage when you are, it's not going to be much, but it gives you a bit more damage when things are flooding or on fire, and things will be flooding and on fire permanently if that's something I have anything to say about. You can use the fully prepared here. You do want to use to get the Mistweaver and the engine overload, obviously. IFHE with 100mm guns probably doesn't make much of a difference. So it'll be worth trying, but I don't think it's going to make a huge difference. And Giant Hunter would be the logical at top tier. So up to the Mistweaver, that's kind of really the important skill here. You can put an elite bonus, a historical camo on it, which gives you main battery range, torp range, traverse speed, and surface detection. All great things. Honestly, that would be a very good choice. And if I'm going to keep this ship, then I might actually get that at some point. I'm not in a rush, but so I also have the Xian Yang that I'm dearly loving at tier 8. So I'm collecting a lot of tier 8 destroyers that I'm really, really happy about. But yeah, that's the thing you could do. Now I'm just gonna stick the Seaborne Assault on that here, and that gives us a bit better concealment. I still have the high-grade coal because preventative maintenance really doesn't make that much difference on a destroyer. All right, so let's get into some games. The first battle, we're playing Epicentre on Frozen Shelter, and we're up against Bismarck, Kansas, Bismarck, North Carolina, Nagato, Colorado, and Benson on the enemy team. That poor Benson is probably not feeling all too confident because, well, there's me, and I'm reasonably confident that I outgun a Benson, and there's an Öland who's got radar. So yeah, that Benson is screwed which way around he goes, right? But yes, it's a target-rich environment battleship-wise. No carrier, so that's all good. Although an Öland and myself together, I've got smoke, Öland's got radar, and we've both got pretty reasonable AA. Carrier wouldn't feel too confident either to blap us in the opening stages of the battle. Either way, and there we are. So yeah, we're gonna rush straight to the center, get ourselves into position. Now the Benson is going to outspot me because my concealment is terrible, but that's fine because after the first 50 seconds, I'm not gonna let go of the trigger easily. So it's really more situational where you do need the concealment, and I personally just want to keep shooting in this thing. With the engine boost on, she does over 40 knots, which is not like top of the class, but which is also not terrible. And we are just heading into the capture circles. I don't mind the symbol there. I think the symbol is broken in the middle because we've captured the outer ring, and the symbol is kind of telling us that we've captured the inner ring or the middle ring. So it's all weirdly busted. I don't know what these symbols are about, but yeah. Anyway, a different story for another day probably. So this is about as far as I want to go. The Benson, if he's making it, yeah, he's in the capture circle. Oh, look at that, brave. Now he is either out of the capture circle or still in, because there's two of us here. So, but yeah, Öland has radar, so, and I have smoke if I need it. So yeah, he should be running. You're not getting that center cap, my friend. You're not. There he is, yeah. Shoo, go away. There come some torpedoes. Okay, that leaves us to play with the battleships. So let's go and find ourselves some, shall we? There's a Colorado. And they're all kind of just nice and clustering around. There's the Nagato. We should be spotted anytime soon. Yeah, there's a big cluster of battleships over there. Everyone's already on flooding. That's probably the Öland's doing. So let's dunk some torpedoes in their general direction, and then just start doing what we're doing best, which is to zoom around and set stuff on fire. Okay, hello Bismarck. Are you even looking at me? Let's see. Let's take him under fire. Let's engine boost out and open up a little bit, because you don't need to be this close. I don't want to be in secondary range of that thing if I can avoid it. No, he's not even shooting at me, so I'm just going to, well, light him up. We've got the center cap. It doesn't look like the enemy destroyer is coming back, so there's no need for me to sit around in there. I might as well just light up these battleships. Okay, that's about as far as I want to go. And then we're going to shoot at the Bismarck and see if we can get a fire set. But yeah, there's the first fire, and there's the Damacon. So he might have noticed me by now, so I'm gonna smoke up. Yeah, he's noticed me. The thing is, the Öland has a very, very good flooding chance on his torpedoes. So the two of us together, and if he's paying attention to if we're paying attention to each other, where we're triggering the Damacons, then we're gonna have a great amount of fun with these things. Okay, there's the first permafire. And yeah, you can see me. I'm just holding the hammer down here. Okay, we're spotted again. That's fine. We're shooting anyway at people. Okay, let's get a little bit of hard cover between ourselves and anyone over there, in case the Bismarck decides he still wants to shoot. No, nobody wants to shoot. Okay. And we are just ensuring someone's capturing the one of the battleships is being aggressive there. It's the Kansas. Okay, so the Öland got a flood on the Kansas, so I'm gonna need to start switching fire. Let's see if I can get one more permafire. Nah, it's fine. Okay, Kansas, there's Damacon, because he was flooded. So let's start. Sorry, Öland. I don't have a smoke ready for you. Otherwise, I would be smoking right now. Sorry. Let's see if we can get a fire set on the Kansas. And Öland's got already his next set of torpedoes going. So we're just gonna try that. I mean, they don't do a lot of damage, but that's also not what it's all about. There's some more torpedoes from the Öland, and the Kansas is now perma-flooding and is now on perma-fire. So I'm just going to dunk enough torpedoes in there. These things are pretty solid in their torpedo defense. Dunk enough torpedoes in there that he's dead. So he's dead, he just doesn't know it yet. So we'll start shooting someone else. Oh, the Bismarck's back again. Okay, Kansas is dead. And we're going to get... Actually, that was a waste of torpedoes. He was so low already that I could have saved my reload, but that's fine. We are going to shoot the Bismarck. Now we are coming up. We still got a torpedo on the Bismarck, so it wasn't a complete waste. Or this was a bug again. I don't know. Well, let's smoke up, control that fire, just to such we're not spotted in smoke, because Bismarck has some really nasty secondaries, and he once again damaged cons a single fire, although he's getting relatively low on health. And now we're playing the same game again. So Öland, if you're paying any attention, the Bismarck would be a good target for a permaflood. Yeah, you come in the smoke. If you have some torps on the Bismarck, he Damacon a single fire, so just go for it. There's the permafire. Bismarck is shooting at us, I guess. There come the Öland torps. So I'm once again getting a little bit of island cover between myself, but it looks like the Bismarck is shooting at the Öland. That's a double permafire. And Are these Öland torps gonna hit? I'm not sure. Do I have something else to shoot at? Because Bismarck's probably almost dead. No flood on the Bismarck? Okay, I'm gonna kill him then. Just so we don't get any secondaries here. Okay, that's that thing down. Öland is running away from the Nagato. Hello! I'm here still too. Shoot at me. Come on. One thing that you gotta be aware of with the Akizuki is that the torpedo angles are dreadful, as you can see here. This is cruiser levels of torpedo angles. Okay, so torps out at the Nagato, which means that as I'm a bit late. If he had okay, he takes the flood, he damacons the flood, so now we burn him down. And my torpedoes are already in the water, and these torpedoes have a pretty good flooding chance as well. Now I am, given that the Öland is dead, I am starting to take fire, but the North Carolina is shooting armor piercing at me. That's a flood and a double perma fire on the Nagato. Okay, the Nagato is dead. He just doesn't know it yet, because that's perma North Carolina. Okay, I run to an island. That's fine. Let's get back up a little bit. And there, the Nagato has met his end, and that's already it. And we've done 107,000 pounds of damage. Oh, this is beautiful. I love this ship so dearly. But yeah, pairing with something like a Swedish destroyer is just outright glorious. And we've done almost 25,000 points of fire damage. And damage with torpedoes. We've got 50,000 points of just HE damage with these little guns. And yeah, total compliment to the Öland. That was very well played. Good teamwork there, and a very good eye for opportunities. So let's do that again, because that was fun. In the second battle, what are we up against? North Carolina, Key, Colorado, Cleveland, Mayen, Lebricht, Mars, and another Mayen. So the Americans are going to outspot me as usual, but I'm not super scared of them. It's in a gun duel, I'm probably going to come out on top unless I'm under fire by other things like Cleveland's and such. We're playing on encounter, and it looks like all our cruisers are spawning on the eastern flank, and the battleships are spawning in the cap here together with me. So I'm gonna head northwest, because there's a trio of enemy ships over there. So there's going to be at least one destroyer and probably one or two battleships if the Cleveland is on this side. We don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves, so I'm not yet using my engine boost, but I'm fully expecting that I might need to, yeah, you two don't look like you're going to be coming with me, so I don't have actually any backup here. It looks like the team is lemming training over to the right. All the destroyers are going right. I'm just kind of pointing out to the team very gently, like, folks, you know, there's ships coming. You do realize that this is a cross spawn, right? They're coming this way. So I'm just sitting here waiting to be spotted by one of the Americans. And getting my guns ready. Okay, there's a battleship, and any second now I should be spotted. Yep, there I am, spotted by one of the destroyers. That's fine. He's not shooting yet at me, and he's not going to torpedo me. But oh, there the Cleveland's here. Okay, yep, time for me to exit. Let's get some shots out at the Cleveland. I'm almost spotted anyway. And just get some distance between myself and that thing. I mean, he's firing high explosives, so I'm not super scared of Cleveland's that are firing HE. But it looks like we might be losing this flank here. So, and I don't know where the American destroyer is. But even if I did know, I have a Cleveland and a battleship coming down this way, so I can't stay and play with them. So let's get some shots out at the Key. We've got our first smoke going. I should be out of radar range of the Cleveland. That's one. Okay, there's one of the destroyers. I'm not sure if there was I had a feeling there was another one on behind me, so I am keeping my distance. Oh yeah, there's the other one. Okay, so do not sit still in your smokes because there are torpedoes coming in. Nice try, folks, but that's a permafire on the Key. Of course, now I'm unfortunately spotted, but stunk some torpedoes into the direction of the Key. He seems to be reversing, so I'm not sure. Is he reversing or is he baiting? I can't really tell, but I don't have time to hang around. I gotta run because I do have half the enemy team coming my way here, and I am fighting a bit of a retreating battle. So, but it looks like the enemy capture circle is pretty wide open. Okay, that's 2 torpedoes on the Key. I could have been better, but well, it is what it is. So let's start firing at that Mayen over there. But we do have to keep our back towards the Cleveland and rush back to the capture circle. Now, that one battleship that was back here in the cap is exiting. and they're calling for defend the base, but actually I think we're going to base trade, because that Amagi is dead. That Mayan is going to rush the Amagi. I am trying to swing the guns around as fast as they will turn and do something about the Mayan. But once again, I do have to be aware that there's also a Cleveland on my left somewhere, and I don't want to sit still, so that should be the end of our Amagi, unfortunately. Maybe we can still get the Mayan for his troubles. No, almost. Alright, okay, what are we going to do here? I think we are going to go down fighting in base defense, Japanese style, and try to delay them as long as possible. We're behind on points, but if we can cap earlier than they, then we get a points advantage. So go for the cap, people. I'll stay back here, and I'll try to delay them as long as possible. I've still got one smoke. And obviously the Americans are keeping me spotted, but they don't want to get in. Okay, no, I'm out of spotting, so they're not in the capture circle. But there comes a North Carolina, and he seems to be eager to go for the cap. So I'm going to try and see if I can take him down with me, all the while pointing my nose to where I think the Mayan is, such that I'm not going to run into torpedoes. And he damaged on a single fire, so that means he is now dead, if I have anything to say about it. The Cleveland is coming reasonably close. I think that's the Cleveland. No, actually the Cleveland is rushing back to defend the cap. Perfect. And that's a low health Colorado, so that's double perma-fire. There's the Mahan. Mahan is blind firing at me, that's fine. There come the torpedoes, that's why I'm not sitting in the smoke any longer. You've waited for too long, we're still holding the cap, and I can now dunk 8 torpedoes into that North Carolina. And then, I'm dead here, right? I have no illusions about that. I'm on 5,000 hit points, and I'm under fire from a North Carolina who's going to be reloaded in a minute, and a Mahan. But, he's moving. But I am trying to keep these guys away for as long as possible. The North Carolina is just flooding out. And, okay, so I'm down, but we're already in the process, finally, in the process of capping. I mean, I've called it out a minute ago or something. But we should be able to cap before them, which means we should be getting a points lead. And taking down that North Carolina, and we've also sunk something else, means we're actually ahead on both kills and points at this point. So, yeah, we're just going to have to wait until we're capping out. Right now, nobody has a points income. And now my team just has to manage not to die. Okay, Mayan versus Mayan. Be aware that there's still a battleship, and there's a Cleveland still around, although the Cleveland seems to have battleship problems of his own. Okay, we've capped, so our points income is now going to start ticking, while the enemy team still has half a minute to go or so until they can actually get a points income. So if everybody manages to, not die, like, I don't know what that cruiser is down there, you realize there's a full health key, right? We don't need to kill that thing. We're going to win on points. All you have to do is not not everybody of you has to die. So that Hipper is probably going to die. I'm not sure about the Mayan. Okay, now the enemy team is capped, but now we've already actually increased our points lead because I have delayed the enemy cap for quite a bit and taken down that North Carolina in the process. So yeah, the Akizuki. I love this ship. I have to say, this is an absolutely amazing ship. She is, she can do damage like you wouldn't believe. Don't underestimate the guns because they're only 100 millimeters. Just the sheer volume of fire this thing can dish out. And if you've seen it, I've done 50,000 points of damage in that thing. Doing 50,000 points of damage in a cruiser is an okay result in a tier 8 battle. And that isn't even counting the fires yet and the torpedoes. This is an absolutely glorious ship. It's a gunboat. It's a YOLO boat. It's a zip around and set everything on fire thing. And it pairs really well with Swedish stuff. It has great AA. It has smoke screens. Honestly, you could go for a concealment build. It wouldn't be a terrible choice. But I personally... I almost feel I don't need it because 90% of the battle I've got the trigger down anyway. So what's the purpose? I'd rather actually dodge a bob and weave. So yeah, this is an absolutely great little ship, and I am thoroughly happy that I managed the kind of atrocious grind through tier 6 and 7 with the Shiratsuyu and the Hatsuharu. and finally came to the point where the gunboat line starts shining. So that's a great little boat. Anyway, that's it for today. Thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.